All right. What is up? What's up? Getting this thing rocking and rolling. The first official RockStarr live here on YouTube. Oh man, we're bringing the lives back. Let's get it. On my screen, I don't know why. So what I did was I logged in on my phone and I can see your guys' conversation on the phone. So I'm going to be using my phone for the live chat today, just to make sure we are smooth and everything is going great. Everything's going great. So I'm super excited to be here with you guys today. I know we kind of did a little teaser last week, and I'm glad that we did it because I knew we were going to be going live this week. I knew we were going to be getting everything started, but I wanted to make sure everything was right and everything was working. And if you guys were on the live stream last week, then you know we had a few hiccups. Nothing too serious, but for some reason, we did get cut off 1 or 2 times during the live stream. And I don't know why. You know, I have great internet connection, so I'm not sure why that happened. But my solution was just go out there and get a brand new computer. So that's what I did. All right. I said I was going to do it, and I did it. So we took immediate action. Same exact day, ordered a new computer, went online, did some research, got a great gaming computer. Don't need it for trading, so I do want to make that clear because I know I made a video a while ago. Don't need it for trading, but if we're going to be doing these live streams and getting on with you guys and, you know, getting involved with all the high-techy kind of stuff, then yes, I did have to upgrade the computer for that. So we got a nice new computer. I got a, what is it, Legion 5i gaming tower from Lenovo. So it's lit. So we should have no issues on this screen, on the stream. If we do, though, let me know because I still, like I said, I'm figuring this stuff out, learning as we go here. You know what I'm saying? I'm by myself. I need a team, right? But so yeah, so super excited, man. Last week we kind of got on, get a little teaser, and this week we're officially getting it started. So we're gonna be jumping into really a little bit of the charts today, showing you guys some of the basics. How many of you here are brand new to trading, by the way? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're brand new to trading. Who here is brand new to trading? Drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1. Okay. If you've been trading for less than 6 months, okay, if you've been trading for less than 6 months, drop a 6 in the chat. And if you've been trading for over a year now, drop a 7. All right. If you've been trading for over a year, drop a 7. Less than 6 months, drop a 6. And if you're still brand new, drop a 1. All right. We want to see exactly where everybody is at. All right. Just give me a second. All right. Just so that we make sure, you know, we're feeding you guys the right information here. Okay. Right information. Now, if you've been trading for over a year already, right. And this is like, we gotta, this is truth too. So you guys are going to get a different, probably a different Rico than what you guys are probably used to in terms of my video content on these live streams. And if you've been on my live streams before, when I used to be part of that academy, you know, I'm a little bit more raw and a little bit more real, okay, when it comes to the way that I teach, right? I like to keep it real, no sugarcoating. I don't teach based off of hype. I don't want to do that. I don't want you guys to get hype and excited. I want you guys to be able to see yourself as that full-time trader or making that full-time income. I want you to be able to envision it, but I don't want to build it off of hype, if that makes sense. So if you've been trading for more than a year, okay, and you're not yet profitable, okay, then we got work to do, right? We got some work to do. And it's no different, right? And there's probably multiple reasons as to why that is. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. There's probably multiple reasons why that is. Why, you know, it could be maybe you're not as focused. Maybe you're not as dedicated. Maybe you're not putting as much time into the charts that you should be putting into the charts. Maybe you're balanced. When I first learned about trading and I started dabbling a little bit into stocks, right? And that was like my thing. I was excited. Now, I only got into stocks because that's what everybody talks about. Even still to this day, when I tell people, like, they'd be like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, well, like I own a few companies, but primarily I'm a day trader. That's like how I fund all the other businesses that I have. And they're like, oh, you're a day trader, right? Oh, like how's the markets going? You know, the stocks, and they start asking me for stock tips and stuff like that, right? So, you know, typically when we think about trading and when we talk about trading, people naturally gravitate to stocks. So when I started to learn about like putting my money to work for me and like investing and and doing those kinds of things. I didn't grow up with a lot of money, right? I grew up Harlem, New York, single dad. My dad's actually visiting me right now. He's upstairs, in the house. But single dad, New York, my whole life, it was just me and my dad, watching my dad work 2-3 jobs at a time. I always wanted to be successful and make a lot of money. I just didn't know where that would come from. And it wasn't until I started getting into trading. I got into trading in 2015, and I got in with stocks. And I learned very quickly I could not trade stocks because I didn't have any money. I was broke. And with the stock market, you need money, okay? You need money. So that's when I made that transition over to Forex trading, okay? In 2016, I made the transition to Forex. And the reason why that's relevant, it goes back to the fact that I was already trading and learning how to trade and getting into it in 2015. But when I started trading Forex in 2016, I had to do a full reset because I was already trading for a year, but I was not profitable and I still had almost no clue what I was doing. So I was still brand new. And as I was getting into Forex, I dabbled into many different strategies. Most people are just overcomplicating. I'm still a firm believer that a lot of the people that teach overcomplicate it for two reasons. Number one, because they want to sound a lot smarter than they actually are, right? Just keeping it real, right? But number two, they probably want you to buy a really expensive course. I mean, just keeping it real, right? So they're going to make it as complicated as possible so that you feel like you need them. I don't want to build a community off of people who feel like they need me to succeed in the markets. I want to build a community off of people who genuinely want to be in the present because of the impact and because of what it is that we were able to teach. So 2016 comes, 2017 comes, I'm still not profitable, okay? 2018 is when I started to actually make money in the markets. Now, why is this relevant? This is relevant because, again, I've already gone 3 years of trading, but I still did not consider myself a trader. I was still learning and I was still a beginner. How many of you here can resonate with that? How many of you here can be open and honest? You've been trading for over 6 months. You've been looking into it for over a year, but you're still not there yet. So you can say, I am still brand new into the markets. I'm brand new to trade. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm here to learn. How many of you here can say that in the chat? Drop a me if that's you. Drop a me real quick. Okay, so as we dive into today, right, here's what I want to do. We're going to start this thing off with some very, very beginner basics. Okay, now the reason being is because I know there's a lot of new people here. I see the ones in the chat. I see the sixes, right? And I see even some of the sevens that are still brand new. Okay, before we get into today's training, I want to go over something real quick. And this is something that we'll probably do on, I'll be honest, almost every session. Because, okay, I want to make sure that you get it. And not only you, but some of our newer viewers that are coming on and that are watching as well. I want to make sure they get it too, because looking at the charts can be a little bit overwhelming, but it's really not that complicated once you get it, right? So let's pull the charts up real quick and let's look at or, go over a few things, okay? So the first thing that I like to teach people all the time, okay, and you guys will hear me say this a lot. I'm trying to find an empty spot on the chart. I don't want to erase any of my markups. Let's go to gold real quick, all right? So I don't got anything on gold. So you guys will hear me say this a lot, and the reason why I say it so much is because I really want to engrave this. Like, I want you guys to be fully in alignment with me when I say this, is that trading is not hard, okay? It's not simple, right? It's not something that you're just going to get overnight, but it is a very easy concept to understand. So it's not hard. It's an easy concept to understand. You just have to put the time in to understand it, okay? So when you're looking at the markets, it's very simple. The markets only move in 3 directions. 3 directions, that's it. Okay, so you narrow it down to just the number 3. We would understand that the markets do what? The markets go up. Oops, that's the wrong tool. All right, so the markets go up. Okay, you guys see that right there? Upwards movement. Now, for all of my people that's been here for a while, right? Basic stuff. What is this called? When the markets are moving up, it is called a what? What are we looking at? I'll give it some time because I know with the live stream, it's probably a little delay, right? So some of you guys might have faster internet than others. Okay, so let me look at the chat real quick. There you go, up, down, sideways. She already knew, right? So it's an uptrend. Okay, it's an uptrend. Okay, so as you're looking at an uptrend, and we're gonna get into this on, I gotta figure out these days. I'm thinking I'm gonna do the lives maybe, definitely Monday, every Monday. Well, I'm thinking Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday maybe. I think those might be my days. I'm trying to think ahead because I do know that I travel a lot, and I know Thursday's a travel day, and technically Monday's a travel day, but I can do these types, the Monday sessions anywhere. I'll see though. But for sure, Monday and Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll be back, by the way, guys. So we'll go over more of this tomorrow in terms of market structure and how to read and understand the structure, okay? So when you're looking at an uptrend, all we're doing is we're identifying points in the market where we can, like, you can look at this and just see clear as day. Even if I did like a market replay, right? Press the alert. Even if I did a market replay and I put it back to, you know, like right here, right? You know, you can still see that at this point, going from this area here to this area here, the market has gone up. Okay, you guys see that? So let's fast forward a little bit. By the way, this is TradingView, guys. If you guys aren't familiar with TradingView, very basic platform, all right? And you can backtest and do stuff like this, like a market replay. So you got a touch point here, you got a reaction point here, and you got a reaction point here. Boom. So again, from here, let me go ahead and erase. From here to here, you can see the market is going up, right? So from here to here, up. From here to here, up. This is what we call an uptrend, okay? So that's the first direction the markets move. You guys following me so far? Let me know if you guys are following me. Okay, so the markets go up. Now, opposite of the markets going up, the markets also go down. Okay, the markets also go down. So as you guys can see here, clear as day, from here to here, it's down. From here to here, it's down, goes down, and we broke up a little bit right here, but for the most part we are still overall going down. You guys see that, right? Okay, so that's a downtrend. Very simple. So the markets go up, the markets go down, and then occasionally you're going to see this right here, something similar to this in this area. Markets going sideways, just not really doing much movement, right? Just kind of going sideways. We can even do this, right? And look at this whole area here. This whole area here is just market moving sideways. No real up movement, no real down movement or anything like that. Just sideways movement. We call that either one or two things. You can call it either consolidation or you can call it a range, depending on, you know, what you're looking for and what style of trading you're doing, right? I typically call this a range because I'm a scalper. So I like to scalp in the market right now. Maybe someday I might be a long-term trader, right? I might trade very far out. But today and for the last 5-6 years, I have scalped the market, right? Whether it has been leverage style trading or binary options, scalp, okay? So as someone that's brand new, I always get the question of, like, people have this misconception that we can only make money as traders when the market is going up. And what I want you to understand is that that is not true. If you're investing into an asset, maybe if you're buying a stock, or even if you're looking to hold something like Bitcoin, or like, yes, typically you would only make money if it goes up. But when we're trading the asset, what we're doing is we're trading the value of whatever it is that we're trading, whether it be gold, whether it be a currency, whether it be an indice, whether it be a crypto. We're trading the value of it. And values fluctuate up and down, which in turn we can make money on both the ups and the down movements, no matter how big the up was or how big the down was, we can make money on that. Does that make sense to everybody here? All right, let me know in the chat, guys, if that makes sense. All right, if you guys are following me so far. All right, I like interaction, by the way, on the chats. I like interaction. I like to make sure there's people here. We're paying attention. We're being attentive. You know, I want to make sure you're actually learning, right? You're actually learning. Okay. Awesome. Okay, cool. So when we're looking at the markets, okay, really, like I said, it's a simple concept. It's an easy concept to understand. It's simple to learn and do. Easy to understand, simple to learn and do. The markets move in 3 directions. They go up, down, and sideways, okay? And the markets move in patterns. And these patterns happen over and over and over again. The patterns happen over and over and over again. So people say, well, how do you know the market is going to go up? It's a pattern. It happens again and again and again. And it's all probability. It's not to say that you're going to be correct every single time. But if you can get used to these patterns, you'll get used to how the markets move with whatever asset it is that you're trading. Okay, so let's get into today's session. TGIM, thank God it is Monday. Okay, so every Monday we're going to be getting on these live sessions, and I'm going to focus a little less on the charts and more on the kind of like, not really behind the scenes stuff, but more of the things that you don't really see on YouTube, more of the things that people don't teach because it's not good for clicks or whatever the case may be. We're not going to be going over the best strategy in the world, 90%, you know, win rate and all that kind of stuff. We're going to be teaching you guys the things that you would probably typically pay to learn in an academy, and also the things that most people would pay to learn but skip over because they just want to focus on strategy because they think the strategy is the reason why they're not profitable yet. And if no one told you, I'm going to be the first to tell you that's incorrect. Okay, it's incorrect. So very first session, I thought it'd only be right that we get on here and I break down to you guys how to even formulate a good trading plan. That's what I want to focus on today. I want you to understand that trading is not just something that you come in and you kind of half-ass it. Like you come in and it's like, oh, if I feel like doing it today, oh, if I need some money, oh, you know what, I got to learn how to trade because I got to pay off this credit card debt or whatever the case may be. It's not easy money. It's a skill that you have to learn to develop. The one thing that I like about skills, I do a lot of things in life. I own, you know, multiple companies. And one thing that I always teach our guys, especially in sales, because I own a sales company, is that the beautiful part about skills is that skills can be learned, right? And once they're learned, they're very often never forgotten. So there's only a few things that can happen with your skill. It's like you can only get better with skills. You can only get better. It's not like I learned how to swim today, and then a year from now, I'm worse at swimming a year from now than I am today. The skill can only get better, right? It's not like I learned how to ride a bike, and I've been riding a bike for years now, but then I stopped riding bikes for 5 years, and then year number 6, I completely forget how to ride a bike. That's not how it works, right? So with trading, it's the same thing. It's a skill that you have to learn to develop. And a lot of the skill, I would say probably about 80% of the skill of trading is going to be what's going on right here. It's your thought process. It's your mentality. It's your psychology of the charts, how you view the charts, how you think about the charts, how you view money, how you think about your profits, how you think about your losses. It's a psychological game for the most part. And the more you can learn to control your emotions, the better you will be at trading, right? Now, here's the thing though. With controlling your emotions, I found that when everything is planned, right? When it's planned ahead of time, it's easier to control the emotions because the outcomes are expected. What do I mean by that? So we all heard the saying before, he who fails to plan, plans to fail, right? He who fails to plan, plans to fail. So when it comes to trading, if you're not thinking about certain things, so like how much you risk, what time of day you get on, what assets you're going to be trading, what's your goal for the week or for the month. If you're not thinking about these things ahead of time, then what happens is that when the end of the week comes and you don't have that week goal and you're kind of just getting on and just placing trades and, you know, you got a strategy, but nothing is really planned, then when the strategy doesn't go as you thought it might go, the expectation isn't there. Whereas if it was planned, we're like, okay, like we knew there was a possibility it wouldn't go in that direction. So we'll come back to the charts, next time and we'll do it again and we'll do it again until we get it right. Right? Does that make sense, everybody here? So we're going to be going over what I call the foundation of a good trading plan. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Are you guys still there? Can y'all hear me? Is something going on? I wasn't sure if I got some. Boom, boom. Are you guys? I think I'm still going. All right. So we'll continue this up. All right. So let's talk about it. So the first thing I think everybody needs, all right, when it comes to trading, it's going to sound cliche to some of y'all. And to be honest, I don't care. There's two sides of success, right? Everybody focuses on the physical side of success. There's two sides of success. There's the physical and the spiritual. I might get too deep for some of y'all. Some of y'all probably don't want to hear this, right? You want to hear the best strategy in the world, right? So physical and spiritual, okay? The physical for trading is going to be all the things that you learn and you do on the charts. The spiritual is going to be how it is that you think, right? So your goals and your affirmations, what is it that you're telling yourself every day? What is it that you're telling yourself every week? And what are your actual goals? It goes back to what we just finished talking about, which is planning. What are your goals for the chart? What are your goals for the day, right? And the reason why this is so important is because someone who has a goal, let's say your goal is to make $100 a day, okay? Someone without a goal will hit that $100 mark and keep the position open or continue to trade because they didn't set that goal. And what happens is that when you don't have that set goal for your day to day and or for your week to week or for your month to month, then what happens is that you'll typically overtrade, over leverage, or you'll probably you're holding positions that you probably shouldn't be holding. You're doing all these things. And when it turns the other way and it goes, let's just say drawdown or it goes negative or whatever the case may be, it's easy for you to get discouraged because you never had an actual goal in the first place. You're kind of just winging it, right? You're kind of just winging it. You're just going over random things. So the first thing all of you need to do before we even talk about the charts, and again, we'll be getting into the charts tomorrow. Before we talk about the charts, I need all of you to look at your current life and start setting up some goals for yourself of what it is that you want to do on the charts. Now, they have to be realistic and measurable goals. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're only making, let's say hypothetically, you live in the US, you make $2,500 a month right now at your job. Your goal should not be to make $10,000 this month in trading. You've never done it before. You're still a student. You're still learning, right? The ins and outs. And there's going to, there's a law of process. It's going to take time, right? So you need smart, measurable goals, okay? So let's say, for example, at my job, I make $150 a day, hypothetically. All right, let's just do some basic math real quick. You do 150 times 5, that's $750 a week. Most people in the United States don't make that. Most people around the world don't make that, right? But let's just say, matter of fact, let's do 100. That's more realistic. I feel like a lot of people make 500. Might not be you. You might be rich, right? But the average person is not, right? So let's say you make $100 a day after taxes at your job, okay? Well, I would probably want to come on the charts and I would probably set a goal for myself just to start off of making maybe anywhere from $20 to $40 a day. All right, something realistic, something that I can obtain, something that I know I can do, so that I can get the hang and get used to just doing it over and over and over again. Because trading is not about how many pips you can catch or what your lot size is, how much money you're making. Trading is just about consistency. So you just got to get consistent. So set a good goal for yourself. Then what I would recommend, you don't have to do this. What I would recommend is affirm it, right? Affirm it. I would make my entire environment, and I'm just telling you how it is that I see success for myself. Y'all don't have to do it. I really do what you want to do. Some of y'all probably skip over this part, right? But I would affirm it for myself. Everything in my environment is a positive affirmation. I like positivity because I understand that what we focus on expands. I understand that what I give, I attract. I just understand all of this stuff. I understand how things work. Everything is positive. I affirmations all over my office here. I got this little board right here. Be the architect of your destiny. I like, it's just, I'm affirming everything. I got 3-4 whiteboards with goals all over them, income goals, life goals, all these different things. And I speak my goals all the time. I am not ashamed. I am not bashful. I am not quiet about my goals. I'm very loud about my goals when it comes to, getting them out there and speaking them into existence. Your thoughts become words. Your words become things. So I would go out there and I would affirm my goals every single day. I would affirm my goals before I get on the charts. And I speak positivity into my world. So that's the first thing. It's my favorite part. It's my favorite part, right? The next thing is decide how much capital you have for trading. And the key here is to understand that you would never want to invest more than you can afford to lose. Okay? You would never want to invest more than you can afford to lose. We're going over the very basic stuff here, guys. This is simple stuff. I want you to understand this first before we get to the charts. Never invest. So what does that mean? I've literally had people come to me and tell me they have no money and they want to put, they have only $20, only $50 to invest. And they need to make money with that $50. And I cannot, I'll say this loud, I'll say this for everybody here to hear it. I can't help you. I can't help you. I can't help you because that's not how trading works. It's not how trading works. And even if you found somebody who's going to give you signals or give you trades for you to put your last $50 in, or for you to put your rent money, or for you to put your car note or your insurance money into the market with the hopes that somebody else is going to make you that money back, it's just a horrible mentality. It's a gambling mentality. You're better off going to the corner store and grabbing a scratch off or the gas station. I'm used to saying corner store. I'm from New York, right? We got corner stores. I live in Florida now, and there's no corner stores over here. So we got to go to like Wawa's or, gas stations or something, right? Right? But go get yourself a scratch off, okay? Get yourself a scratch off and hope that you win another $5 on that. And then reinvest that $5 into another scratch. That's what you're better off doing, all right? I know I'm joking, having some fun here, but this is facts, okay? You never want to invest more than you can afford to lose, okay? Why? Because going back to what we were talking about before, it's all psychology. It's all right here. So if I'm in a trade, right? If I'm in a trade and the trade's been going on for a few minutes and I'm like sweating because I'm like, oh my God, like I got to win this trade. I got to build this account. You are literally mentally destroying yourself and destroying any potential that you have to see profits in the market solely because of the way that you think. And the way that you think when you're trading on your last dime, trust me, I've been a broke trader. Broke trading sucks. I get it. But we need to get you some money first. You got to figure out how to get some money. Okay. But when you're trading on your last dime, you do things like revenge trade. So you take a loss and you'll get back into position because you convince yourself that you probably got in too early and it's about to go your direction now. So you get back into the trade and you lose again. Right. So your revenge trade, you're over leverage. Right? Because like, when you're doing that 0.05 and you're only making $2 a trade, it's not enough for you. So now you double it. You go to the 0.10, right? You go to the 0.10s, where now it's like, man, some of you guys try to trade standard lots, right? You can't do it yet. So you got to wait. So you over leverage, you over trade, you revenge trade. You'll do all of these things because the mentality is I need to make this money. I need to make it back. Okay. All right, cool. I think we're back. There might have been a little bit lag there. I'm highly convinced the lag comes from where I am. I think one, I don't get good connection where I am. But I think every once in a while, I don't think it's going to be lag. I think there's going to be connection drops and then it reconnects. And then it drops and it reconnects. Because my connection is fire, right? But yeah. So you got to figure that out, whether it be a weekly, whether it be a monthly, whether it be a bi-monthly, every 3 months. How much am I willing to put into the market to grow this money, not to flip it? Okay. So you got to think about that kind of stuff. All right. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Your preferences. Okay, so this is going to be very important as well. All right, if you guys are still with me, drop a 1 in the chat real quick just to make sure. All right. Also, too, anytime, because it depends on your connection, depends on my connection, right? Anytime it starts to lag a little bit, just click the live button. There's a live button right next to the play and the mute button. Click live and it'll go fast forward you all the way up to where we are right now, right? Okay, cool. So let's talk about your preferences, and hopefully you guys are taking notes and writing this down. This is kind of like your homework for today. We want to get you on the charts this week. We want to make sure that you're understanding it this week, but we got to get through this stuff first, right? So let's talk about your risk per day. All of these things are relevant stuff, right? How much of your account are you willing to lose, and when do you pull the plug? Okay, how much of your account are you willing to lose, and when do you pull the plug? Now, what do I mean by that? So some of you guys might take 2-3 positions a day. Some of you might take 4 positions a day. You know, it really depends on what assets you're trading, right? You might be able to trade multiple pairs. If you're trading binary options, I know we got a lot of binary traders here. If you're trading binaries, you might be trading multiple different setups, right? Because it's so fast and you can get multiple, pairs in there. And, but you got to figure out how much am I willing to lose on a daily basis. So if I have a $250 account, okay, it probably isn't a good idea to risk $50 a day, right? Because there's like so many times that I can lose before I completely blow my account. And you never even want to get to the point where you're getting close to blowing your account. So like if I have a $250 account or even a $200 account, I'm probably, I would say $5, maybe $10 a day. Now, some of you guys, and that's on the high end, I'm a little bit more aggressive with my trading. Some people will say like 1%. And you can do 1%. I just can't do, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. But, I think, yeah. Maybe 5%. Let's see. I'm horrible at math, by the way. So I would say, yeah, a little less than 5%. A little less than 5%. Between 2 and 5%, right? Let's just say it. Right? I would say stay somewhere in that range if you're more aggressive like me, right? But I just wouldn't advise risking too much on a daily basis. Even though in your mind, you might feel like it's not a lot of money, you have to remember the goal is to grow this account to the point where we can start making consistent withdrawals on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis to pay for our lifestyle. But you have to grow it first. So you start small, and the power of compounding and consistency, you're going to grow that account little by little, okay? So how much are you willing to lose? You have to look at that. If you're starting with $100, there's a few people that hit me up about starting with $100. You can do that. But don't look to make, $10 a day or you know what I'm saying? Like, don't risk $10 a day. That's 10 losses and you're already out, right? And you will lose. You might have losing days. You might have losing weeks. It's going to happen. So how much of your account are you willing to lose? And when do you pull the plug? How many trades do you take? Okay, how many trades do you take per day? These are all things that you have to think about based off of your style of trading. All right, boom. The next one, your availability. Now, availability is something that a lot of people sleep on, but it's very important. Okay, what are your possible trading hours? Now, the reason why this is very important is because you have to understand that, as I said in the beginning, the markets move in patterns. Patterns happen over and over and over again, right? But the thing about patterns is that there's 4 different market sessions. So it's not like it's one big session going all throughout the day, 24 hours a day, same exact session, moving in the same patterns. There's 4 market sessions, right? Who knows the 4 market sessions? Drop them in the chat, right? I know there's a delay, so I'll say them. It's not like I'm gonna give you guys the answer, right? But there's 4 market sessions, right? You got New York, you got Tokyo, you got Sydney, all right? And you got the Australian session. Okay, so there's 4 different sessions, and although throughout these sessions there are patterns that form, you have to understand which session you're going to be trading, and that's going to be based off of what time is most convenient for you to trade. Now, the reason why I say most convenient is because what you don't want to do is you don't want to be all over the place. You don't want to be distracted. You don't want to be rushing. Maybe you got to go to work after. Like, you don't want to be doing those things. So you want to find a convenient time that you can constantly and consistently get on the charts over and over and over again. Because if you get on the charts at the same time every day, what happens is you'll get used to the patterns, or as they say, the way that the markets move throughout that session, whether that be volatility, whether that be liquidity, whether that be momentum, whatever it is, you'll get used to how the markets move. You'll start to see things like, okay, this market is good for breakouts. This market is good for more of a slower market, consolidation. This market we completely stay away from, right? That's an Australian session, by the way, guys. I don't think I know any trader who trades the Australian session, but Sydney, right? But but we'll stay away from that session, right? But you guys got to learn this. You got to know this. By the way, if you're not already in our Discord, make sure you guys join the Discord. We got a lot of free resources in the Discord, and one of them is the session breakdowns for you guys, so you guys can understand. Let me pull it up for you guys. Let's see where it's at. RockStarr Trader Resources. So we got the different times, session times. I don't know if you guys, actually, let me pull up the webcam. Probably a little blurry, but we got these are downloadable graphics that you guys can actually download. Here's another one. No, you can't see it. All right, whatever. It's too bright. But join the Discord. Join the Discord. There you go. That's a little better. Join the Discord. You guys will be able to get that. So if you're unfamiliar with the market sessions and the different times that they run, we got that covered for you. You ain't got to worry about it. All right. But so you would want to get on, and you would want to get on, and you would want to get used to the way these markets move, so that you can understand the patterns better. What I also advise, I don't know if we're going to go over that today, maybe not. Looking here, no, I don't think so. But aside from just the time, you have to identify what assets you're going to be trading, because the same thing with the time, the asset moves in patterns too. So again, it's just trading the same asset at the same time, consistently over and over and over again. You'll get better and you'll get used to how that asset is moving during that time. Okay. And that's how you get good. That's how you see, like, people who've been trading for 10 years, 20 years, they make it look so simple. It's because they've taken the time to master whatever it is that they trade. And they do it over and over and over again. Same strategy, same time, same assets, over and over and over again. They're used to the patterns. They can get on the charts, identify what they're looking for, get off 20, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, make a bunch of money, go on about their day, right? But your availability is definitely something that you have to define for yourself, and don't skip over it. Figure out when that works for you, okay? Figure out when that works for you. Now that comes, by the way, that comes before you even tap into strategy. You got to figure out when you're available before you get into strategy, because you might be studying a strategy that sucks at the time that you're available to trade it. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but it's that's real stuff, right? That's real stuff. People who trade London session probably don't trade the same. They don't trade the same strategies or whatever as someone that would trade Tokyo, because Tokyo is very flat. Tokyo is very slow. Tokyo's good for ranging markets. It's good for quick reversals if you're trading binary options. That's what Tokyo's good for. But London is big moves, right? It's sporadic. New York is breakouts, right? So you got to get your availability before you get the strategy. Hopefully that makes sense, all right, to everybody that is with us today, okay? Next thing, all right, clock in, clock out routine. Clock in, clock out. Now, why do I call it a clock out routine with the markets and the charts, okay? You have to decide, okay, how long you're going to be on the charts. What is the best, most convenient times for you to be on the charts? Mentally, physically, your day-to-day life, whatever the case may be, right? I tried I learned how to trade. A lot of the people that I learned how to trade from were long-term traders. And when I say long-term, they weren't swing traders. I'm not going to say swing traders, but they did hold trades for a couple days. And I found that even though I learned from them, I learned market structure, I learned how to trade, even though I learned from these people, it just didn't go good with me for multiple reasons. Number one, I have a very fast-paced lifestyle. I got 3 kids. I run 2 companies, right? I travel a lot. I spend a lot of time with family. I like to spend time with family, right? And I just like freedom. I like going out to eat. After this, we're going to go take my dad out for lunch. And we're going to go grab something to eat. We got a bunch of food upstairs. He's cooking. And I just like going out. So I'm going to take him out. He's going to try to talk me out of it and say, we got a bunch of food here. And I'm going to say, Let's go grab a margarita or something, you know? But you got to figure out what works best for your lifestyle. Now, why this is important, okay? Well, how active do you want to be on the charts? I have one of my mentors that I've learned so much from, especially when it comes to binary options. He's taught me so much. A lot of the things I'm actually going to be teaching you guys is stuff that I learned from him. And it's funny because we don't even really have a personal relationship. I just really studied the hell out of him, which is crazy. But, but you know, so you know, one of the things that I've noticed with him, he loves to be on the charts. He does like these sessions right here. He does like 2 to 3 of them every single day. He trades almost every session that the market offers. If some of you guys know who he is, you know who he is, right? But he's always in his chat. He's always trading. He's always on the charts. I mean, I just don't understand it. I understand it. Yeah, I kind of do. He doesn't have any kids. Like, I get it. You know, he's living his life. But I can't do that. I can't do that. That might be you, though. That might be you. You might be the person that loves to trade. You love to be on the charts. And that doesn't bother or affect you. You got to figure that out. You might be the person that only wants to be on the charts maybe 1 to 2 hours a day. Okay? Maybe you only have 1 to 2 hours a day to trade. Okay? And then you might be the person that maybe you're just going for swings. Maybe you only want to sit down and mark up your charts for about an hour or 2 per week. Per week. Okay? And that's a swing trader. Okay? A lot of what I'm going to teach you guys, it doesn't matter what style of trading you're going for. Yes, we're going to be getting into my strategy where, you know, it's more for like scalping and stuff like that. But most of it, like market structure, how to you know, read the trends and do that. That's general all around stuff. So no matter what it is that we're going to be talking about, you guys are going to be good, right? But you got to figure out what type of trader you want to be. You want to be a scalper? You want to be a day trader? You want to be a swing trader? You want to trade binary options? But like, what are we doing here? Okay, what are we doing? Okay, this is all the boring stuff that people skip over, but you can't skip over this stuff because not only is this important, but this is your trading plan. And as we said in the beginning, those who fail to plan to fail. Okay? Awesome. I lost my mouse. Okay. So next, we're going to be talking about a few things. And we'll breeze through these a little bit. All right? We'll breeze through these a little bit. What trading strategies will you trade? Now, there's thousands of different strategies to trade. My best piece of advice to you guys is to pick one and lock in. That's it. That's it. That's it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work this week. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work next week. Pick a strategy and lock in. Lock in and get better and better over time. Okay? If you guys want to learn with me personally and get my strategy down, I trigger very simple breakout strategy, trends. That's it. For leverage. And then for binaries, I haven't traded binaries in a while, but I still will be teaching my binary strategy. Some of you guys know the 3-step setup. I'm going to be teaching that here as well because it's made me a crazy amount of money. And a lot of people still like binaries. So a lot of my following on YouTube is binary options, right? So we'll be teaching that as well. But make sure you're in our Discord so you guys can get all the updates and the sessions on that. Discord is free, by the way. It's in the description of this video. All right, this live stream. Okay, cool. So let's go to position size. How many positions will you have open at any one given time? That's more for leverage. Okay, how big is each position? And will you reserve money for the bomb squad? So I'm going to skip the first 2 because the first 2 is really basic stuff, right? We kind of went over that already. How big are your trades? How many trades do you have open? This is all discipline stuff, right? So once you get a strategy down and you'll kind of determine, okay, I can have 2 trades open at a time, right? Or, as long as I got my confluence and everything is good, right? It'll be good, right? But the bomb squad is something that I came up with. It's a joke, right? It's supposed to be a little, kind of a funny way to remember to not blow your account, okay? We don't want to blow any more accounts in 2025. Now, we know it's going to happen. We know you're going to blow some accounts, and that's okay. It's all a part of the process. Blowing accounts means that you're still going. When you stop blowing accounts, you either rich or you gave up. It's only 2 options. When you stop blowing accounts, you're either rich or you gave up. That's how the average person lives, right? But when you're a RockStarr trader, okay, we're going to stop blowing our accounts on our way to riches, okay? And that's how we're going to do it. We're going to have what we call reserves, okay? We got our trading reserves. I've been teaching this since 2020. All right, 2019 actually. I've been teaching it live since 2020, right? But the trading reserves, we need money for the bomb squad. So what is the bomb squad? The bomb squad is a set amount in your account in which you tell yourself, once my account reaches this level, I'm no longer trading until I'm able to put a little bit more back into the account. Okay. Now you might say, why? Why? Because I believe that there is a certain psychology that comes with blowing your account. I believe that blowing your account does something to a brand new trader mentally that some people just cannot get back from. Like they can't get back up and get back into it, right? So what I did was, when I was on my way and I was learning and I kind of learned about this, right? In 2018 is when I started implementing the bomb squad for myself. 2019 is when this thing works, and I started teaching to other people. But the bomb squad is a portion in your account. So for me personally, it started at $100. So what that means is that I would fund my account with $250. $250 was my starting point to get back into the markets and start trading again. And anytime my account dropped to $100, I said, I'm not placing any more trades until next week or until my next paycheck, where I can put another 100 in or 100, 150 in, okay? And I can start trading with that again. Why? There are so many reasons why. I can go on for days. Number one, it's because we never have to put another $250 or $300 into the account, which for some people might be a lot. It's like, man, that's a good portion of my weekly check. But two, we know that the more money you have in your account, potentially the more money you could make. So being that I always left it like 100, let's say next week I'm like, all right, I could put another 300 in. Now I have 400, right? Let's say next week I can only put 150 in. Okay, now I'm back to 250, whatever it is. So I have essentially more than what it is that I'm re-upping when I have the chance to re-up. That's number one. And you might say, oh, well, again, I don't want to go too much into it. It just works. Trust me, it works, okay? Trust me. The coach is coaching, all right? I'm coaching right now, okay? It works. The other thing is like I was saying, it's just the mentality of blowing that account. It sucks going back down to zero. I already know you feel like you failed. You feel like you lost. You're like, oh my God, your heart drops. You're holding on to that trade. You know you should get out of the trade, and your heart just drops when it pulls you out automatically because you got nothing left in that account. I already know how that feels. I've blown so many accounts, so I know how that feels. So we need to set some money aside for the bomb squad. Whatever that is for you, you make that decision to say, whenever my account gets to this level, I'm not going to trade. I'm going to take a break. We're going to have a mental reset. We're going to go back and we're going to back test a little bit. You could trade your demo account. We're going to back test a little bit, right? We're going to see where we possibly went wrong with these last few positions. And then we're going to put up another 100 or another 150 in, and we're going to go at it again. And that's the beauty of the bomb squad. All right. So make sure you guys got some money in your account for the, but if you guys are following me, if that makes sense and you guys feel like you can do that, drop some bombs in the chat real quick. All right. Okay, cool. All right. So we'll end it with this right here, guys. I don't want this to go on too long. I know we went over a lot of good stuff today. It's the first live. All right. It's the first live. I'm a little rusty. It's been a while. I haven't done a live stream since 2021. All right. It's trading live stream, not a regular, actually 2022. I haven't done like a teaching live stream since 2022. So I'm a little rusty. But the next thing, all right, is going to be, all right, very important, okay, defining your entries. And I'm really big, okay? So this is one of my favorite things to talk about, defining your entry points. Why do we need to define our entry points, okay? We have to define our entry points because most people don't understand that there is a difference between your entry and a possible trade setup. So your confirmations and your entries, you should learn to separate those two. Your confirmation and your entries are not the same. They're two different things. So your trade confirmations are, what do I look for to determine if I have a good setup, if I'm going to be getting into this trade, if I'm going to be getting into this position. That is a trade confirmation. It's the confluences that you look for in the markets to determine if it's even a good setup to look at. That's your confirmation. And then you have your entry points. And you want to get good at pinning down your entry points. I got good at this. I'll be honest with you guys. I got good at this because of binary options. We know when we trade binary options, it is all based on time and price. Okay, time and price when it comes to trading binaries. So I had to get good at exactly when to get into these positions, and I had to define my entry points. And I feel like for me doing that, that's also what's helped me a lot with trading. Right now I trade NAS, right? I trade indices, I trade NAS 100, but it's helped me a lot with trading leverage and getting in and having the patience to wait, because that's a big thing too. See, a lot of people have like a basic entry where they say, oh, if it comes around to this area, or if it comes near here, or if it just enters this big zone here, I'll get into the trade. And I've learned to build the patience to wait. I've learned to build the ability and the discipline to not jump in, right? I've learned to look for specifics and look at all the different variables and look at specifics before saying, okay, this is what I'm getting. I define my entry, and I do not take the trade unless my entry is hit. Okay, so you have to learn to define your entry points. What is it that determines a good trade, and what is it that determines when you get into that trade? Sheesh. All right, let's go. Okay, cool. So here's what we'll do real quick. All right, so we're gonna wrap that up for in terms of the training side of the thing. I'll get into the chat real quick. We'll answer some questions. If you guys have any feedback, we'll answer some questions. Anything you want to say, we'll go ahead and do that. Someone just asked, what is NAS 100 on TradingView? So that actually depends. Okay, it doesn't depend on the asset. It depends on what exchange you're looking for. So you can go to TradingView and you can type in NAS. Actually, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up for you. You can type in NAS and you'll see a bunch of different NAS 100s that get pulled up. All right. So if I go up here, and I type in NAS, you see all of these are NAS 100. All of them are NAS. It's just a matter of what exchange are you trading? That's the question. Now, if you're trading an offshore broker, right, or offshore platform, then what I recommend is your exchange is not going to be here if you're trading. Typically, if you're trading offshore or overseas, if you live in the US and you're trading overseas, your exchange typically won't be here unless you're trading a regulated platform. Okay, so what you would want to do is you will look at the prices that your broker is offering, and then you will find, okay, the best exchange that works. So like Forex.com, I typically use Forex.com, Oanda, and so that's Oanda right there. There's Forex.com right there, and FXCM, right? So I'll show you. This is the NAS that I trade right here. This is the one I trade. Actually, I don't even know what exchange this is. Hold on, let me do this. Pull it back up for y'all. Boom. Oh, so I'm actually trading this one. So I trade this one right here. It turned red, so it has to be that one. Yep. So that's the one that I trade with the broker that I'm on. If you guys use the same broker as me, I found that the NAS prices align with this right here. And the way that I found that was I literally just loaded up all of the NAS pairs. Right? I just clicked all of them. Literally, I have patience, right? I just clicked all of them, added them all to the watch list, looked at my broker, looked at the prices, and just kept comparing. I did that for like 20 minutes straight, kept comparing. And I came up with this one. I don't even know what this exchange is, to be honest with you. I don't use it much, but it works for me when it comes to trading NAS. All right? Hopefully that makes sense. Swiss quotes. I don't know what that is. Is that on TradingView? Do they have that on TradingView? If they do, let me know. If you're saying that's the closest exchange that we have. Yeah, let me know. Let me know. I'll look that up because I didn't know. I literally, like I said, I just clicked all of them. That's how I figured things out, right? I just figured things out on my own. I've done that my whole life, you know. Just figure it out as I go, right? But yeah. So, yep. Great session for today. All right, guys. So we're getting ready to wrap this up for today. It doesn't seem like there's too many questions in the chat. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll get ready to wrap it up for today, guys. I think all in all, great session. If you're watching the replay, make sure you watch it all the way through. Like I said, I know most people are going to skip over this because you're just not patient enough. And that alone is why you are not, I know you don't want to hear this, you will never succeed in the markets. You're too focused on strategy. You're less focused on how to actually be consistent and make this a full-time thing for yourself. So great session all around. We went over very beginner basics. We went over the foundation of a good trading plan. All right. If you guys are brand new, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't done so already, drop a like on this video right here so we can get it out to more people. Continue to comment, continue to share it out. If you're not in the Discord, join the RockStarr's the Traders Network Discord, and we will be back tomorrow. We're going to be live again tomorrow, except we're going to be live tomorrow night. So on Tuesday and on Thursday, likely Thursday, not sure for Thursday yet, but likely Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday, we will be on at night, okay? And that would be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all right? So going back to the same time that I used to do my lives, all right? So Monday is going to be at noon. Tuesday and Thursday is going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a blessed week, all right? And let's get it. Let's turn up. Let's run it up. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Peace out.